Hi, so in this video, I'll be reviewing chapter 5 of the book Mindsets. This chapter is about business mindset and leadership. So, in this chapter, the author talked about Enron and how they had a talent mindset, which led to their eventual failure, and how that they were in their fixed mindset that caused them to focus on only gathering talent versus gathering people who would be good leaders. They focused so much on the talent that it drove them into the ground because their people were at each other's throats and so focused on talent and results and not actually the company and themselves, like the growth and just the betterment of the company itself. And just kind of pointed out that the fixed mindset often leads to failure, and she also gives several other examples of companies who also had failure due to the fact that they had a fixed mindset and just didn't look at things the way they should have. She also noted that they tended to, like fixed mindset bosses tend to be harsh, critical, and unaccepting of other opinions. They tend to take them personally and think they're an attack on themselves versus constructive criticism, something to improve the company, or like accepting help when it's offered just because they think that lessens like who they are and what they've done for the company. They believe that has lowered people's perceptions of them. And then she also talked about growth mindset and how that plays a role with companies like GE and several others that she talks about, and that these encourage innovation, initiative, and creativity. That it's okay to fail as long as you learn, and how to be tough yet compassionate, and how these people, these companies succeeded and did amazing things because they worked at it. They allowed their employees freedom and encouraged them to do better, and the bosses never attributed their growth or company success to themselves. They always attributed it to their employees and the people who had worked hard to get them to where they are. She also talks about groupthink and how that plays a role too, how people have a tendency to think and respond, act the same way as the rest of the group. And the praise generation entering the workforce and how that can impact things as a generation that has experienced a lot of praise from just being general for who they are. And then she also talked about people grow to or can grow to have a growth mindset, how it's not something that's set in stone within leadership or as a leader or as a boss or as anything like that, that you can get that growth mindset. It's not something that's born into you. Like the leadership is not born into someone, that's something people can learn. And she also talked about how an organization or a company as a whole can have a mindset and how that can have an impact on the company as well. So the quote I really liked from this chapter was that true self-confidence is the courage to be open to welcome change and new ideas regardless of their source. I really like this because I think it exemplifies what it should be, what we should be looking for, what we should be seeing, that these people should be looking for welcoming new change, new ideas, and they shouldn't care about where they come from. It should be a matter of, is the idea good or is it not good? What is the merit of this idea, not what's the merit of the person but with the idea. It should be what is this idea and is it valuable? Does it have merit? Is it something good? And they should be open to change, willing to try new things. They shouldn't be stuck in their own old ways. The world is constantly changing. Things are always improving or getting better, or there's just new things out there that might work better for your company versus what you're doing right now. So it's just something that really spoke to me, and I really like the quote a lot. And then, so answering the question, can your mindset establish you as a leader within a business, even if your role is not in management? Yes, I definitely think so. That people gravitate to these people who are kind and helpful and all things embodied in a person with a growth mindset. That this is something that you don't have to be in a leadership position to be a leader. You don't have to be in a leadership position to show people, for people to see that you're just naturally a leader or you're naturally someone they want to follow. You're just someone who they can see that you care about them and they in turn care about you, and if they have a deep respect for you because you work hard or because you're always putting their needs or the company's needs above yourself, people respect that and have a tendency to follow that. So I think that's definitely something that can happen outside of having a role in management. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a role in management, and sometimes our leaders really aren't management. Sometimes our leaders are a fellow coworker who just stands out and stands above the rest, and everyone has a tendency to follow them instead of the actual manager. But then I also talked about mindset impacts business leadership, and that how that impacts business leadership, and that fixed mindset people are harsh and only care about the results. They're not looking at their people and bettering the people to help better their company, and they're looking at solely their results, not the future. So they're not concerned about what happens in the future, what happens later on. They're just concerned about what happens in that moment and what happens with that in that point. So then with the growth mindset, these people want to see their employees, their people grow. They want to help them improve, and they want to help them get better and do more, and because they know that will help their company more than focusing on themselves or something like that. And they also just attribute their success to the team first, not the job. They are not looking for praise for themselves. If they get praise themselves, they often turn it around on their team, on their employees, because they're the ones who put in all this hard work and effort, and they should be rewarded and praised for that. And how can you assert yourself at your first job after college? And by learning, being willing to learn, and just taking in and absorbing as much as possible. I mean, that's the biggest thing is learning, and then asking questions and just looking for ways that you can help improve, and maybe you can offer up suggestions to the company to help them. Maybe you have something and you're coming in new as an outside person that they don't necessarily know. And I mean, you might have ideas that they like or something that whatever. So don't be afraid to speak out, and don't be afraid to learn. Just learn as much as you can. But that's all I have for this video, so thanks.